What's going on, everybody? My name is LILWOOLEY618, and today I want to kind of discuss why Call of Duty is dying, or at least one aspect of the recent games of why I think Call of Duty is dying. And it's not necessarily because the game's getting older. I think it has more to do with the developers losing their identity when it comes to the series. Now, what do I mean by them losing their identity? Well, let's take it back several years ago, whenever it was just Treyarch and Infinity Ward. Now, back in the day, we always got, kind of some flack for liking a game that basically seemed to release every year and was the same game over and over again. Although, if you played the series, you know that there was major differences between the two developers. You had Infinity Ward, who had the modern era, they had their own style of maps, they had their style for kill streaks, they had their style for multiplayer. And Treyarch was very similar in the fact that they had their own unique style. They had their, Cold War / World War II / Vietnam War era settings. They had their own style of maps. They had their own style of score streaks and multiplayer, kill streaks, whatever. Now, we take a look at today and we go and look at the most recent games. When you look at Black Ops 3 and compare it to Infinite Warfare, really, there's not that much difference between the two games. Sure, there's slight differences if you really look deep into it, but could you tell whether or not Infinite Warfare or Black Ops 3, which developer made which? I mean, it just seems like the developers have kind of lost their entire identities within the past few years. It seems like the games have become more homogenous than ever, and it's kind of probably one of the reasons why the Call of Duty series is not getting the receptions it has had, over the past several years. Now, granted, there's been other decisions as well. Supply drops are obviously a big one. You have other, some of these money-grabbing sort of deals that they're doing. You have all sorts of things that are turning people away from the series. And, that's something that isn't to be ignored. But the fact that these developers do not seem to have their own distinct identities, I think really kills the game. It does make it feel like it's the same game over and over, year after year after year. Now, whenever Advanced Warfare came out with Sledgehammer, it had a brand new identity that we never seen before, and I think that's what brought a lot of interest and intrigue into the Call of Duty series, because they had their own mechanics. They had the boost movement, they had the new, the jetpacks, they had the new advanced movement that Treyarch and Infinity Ward actually brought into their own games, and they, incorporated into Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. But I think in this push to go be in the future, I think that, and I don't know, it just seems like the developers have kind of homogenized and just, become one instead of being distinctive. And I think if they became distinctive again, I think the Call of Duty series would benefit from it. I think they have better sales. I think they would have better games. And I think the reception of these games would actually be a lot better. Now, how can Activision possibly do this? Well, I have a theory that if you separate out the developers and have different time periods for each, I say if you put Treyarch, say, in the Cold War area and the World War era. I think you do World War I through the Cold War. I think you give that to Treyarch because they've shown they can make good games out of that era. You take Infinity Ward and you put them in modern era. You give them Modern Warfare again. I think you give them that. I think they'll do good there. As for Sledgehammer, let them be the futuristic innovators. They obviously tried it with Advanced Warfare. Give the future to them. Give them the future era. Give them the advanced movements. Give them the advanced tech looking stuff. Let them play around with that. I think Sledgehammer is a great candidate for that. Now, are there going to be some creative strangles on all these eras? Sure. I think Treyarch probably would have the hardest in that scenario, but I think all three of these studios are creative enough to actually go and do something with them that's going to be long term, that's going to be multiple games for each developer. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think that there needs to be more distinction between the three developers when it comes to developing Call of Duty games? Let me know in the comment section below. While you're down there, hit like, hit subscribe if you're new, and guys, follow me on Twitter and all that stuff. Links in the description as always. But my name's LILWOOLEY618, and I'm out of here. Peace!